Welcome to Define You Radio, the place to be for real talk and real tips to help you define your personal and professional life. Class is in session with your host, the Southern Belle of Bold, Valencia Griffin-Wallace. Pens and papers ready. Class is now in session.
Hey kings and queens, it's your girl Valencia Griffin-Wallace, and welcome to Define You Radio. If you are trying to figure out how to have more peace in your life and to find balance, this is the show for you. I'm not interviewing anybody today. It's just me having a little real talk with the kings and queens that's part of the Define You Radio family. If you follow me on social media, you know last month I had the Move Retreat, which may be the first of many. I haven't really decided yet. But it's a few things that I learned at the retreat. While doing yoga, taking roughly about 45 minutes to an hour with Queen Danny Garrick in Jacksonville, Florida. Y'all definitely need to check her out. So while we were doing yoga, we were taking time to enjoy the elements because literally we were on the rooftop of the Hyatt. And we were focusing on our breathing and letting our mind be free and our bodies relax. Now, this sounds like an easy task, and maybe for most people it is. But for me, it seemed like the longest period of my life. I'm talking about longer than it took for me to give birth to my son. But what it was is I didn't know how to clear my mind and just be free. And that bothered the hell out of me because my mind is always focused on what needs to be done for who versus what needs to be done for me. So I vowed before the retreat, actually, I said I wasn't going to get back on social media until 2020 because I felt a pulling in my spirit at the end of last year that I needed to find a little bit more peace and balance in my life to get back to my purpose and that fire that burns inside this queen that is Valencia. And somewhere along the way of constantly writing and constantly posting and figuring out this algorithm and, scheduling this post and this book and this show and this, and this, alongside taking care of my house and business, I kind of lost or felt like I was losing that fire that burned inside of me. That fire that was my original purpose, to be a voice for the voiceless. And when I say that, I mean those that can't speak for themselves or haven't found the confidence yet to find their voice. I know it sounds crazy to some people, but that's truly my purpose. But I got caught up, like I see so many people do, on finding the right filter and posting at the right time and making sure you only show the highlight reel and not the disaster in the background. I've seen marriages broken in the background while on social media everything looks good. I've seen people portray like their life is all together when I've had personal conversations with people who their life is pretty close to not together. That's a nice way of putting it. We get caught up in maybe being the next Oprah or the next Tyler Perry or the next big influencer and everything else. But please do your research. A lot of those people outside of Oprah and Tyler Perry, of course, but a lot of those quote unquote influencers and gurus, however you pronounce it, you'll see them on some special on YouTube about how they scammed people or how they put out bad products or how they rented a house to do this or rented a car to do this or been broke. Because a lot of times we're so focused not on the mirror, but the window. If we're standing in the window, we're worried about what the hell the outside world sees, instead of looking in the mirror and see, what do we see? Why am I not at peace? Why do I feel like my life is out of balance? And that's honestly how I was feeling going into the retreat. I wanted to get off this damn horse because I was tired of dealing with a lot of fake and phony people. Because if you know anything about me, you know I don't have the patience nor the tolerance for that. I felt a bigger calling on my life to just do my podcast, and I love it. There's something bigger inside of me that's burning to give out, to get out. And I had to find that thing. So going back to yoga and finally being able to silence this crazy Aquarius mind of mine, I was able to hear that voice of inner Valencia, or as Queen Shannon says, the God in me, the God that's in all of us. I was finally able to hear her voice that just said, be at peace. And so I focused on breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth with an audible sound that was something close to a yell for freedom, or either a battle cry. It depends on who was listening. And somewhere in that breathing and in that yoga and in the beautiful weather of Florida, which I love, somewhere in there I found Valencia again. So even though I didn't completely retreat from social media, if you follow me, you know I haven't really been posting. Because I figured out the key. The key to my peace and my balance was knowing that the people that I'm here to serve are going to find me. I don't want to be the next great whatever and mentally broken, because I'm so busy putting on the front like everything is great with the world. In the meantime, I'm staying up to 2-3 o'clock in the morning to figure out how many hashtags and what hashtags to use for Instagram. And if you're in business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Nowhere in answering the call for my purpose did it say that. Normally, I'm interviewing people on the show, or I have my other queens on the show. But I felt like tonight, you guys just needed to hear from me, so to speak. And feel free to drop me a line at valenciagwallace.com, because whereas I'm not really on social media, unless you're in my private Facebook group, I do check my emails. So with that being said, I want to share with you a few of the things that I have learned in this journey to where I'm at today, and kind of let you guys know where I'll be tomorrow. I figured out that my peace has nothing to do with people. And the reason why I say that is because, like most of you, I have felt like I have given way more in the hell than I've gotten back. I have wasted way too much time on the phone with people that can't even share a post. I've spent money trying to save people that frankly don't want to be freaking saved. That took me so far from my peace that it disgusts me to even think about it. And frankly, I want to ask some people for my money back, but because that's not my nature, and I do believe that I've sown some seeds, y'all can keep it. But my peace had to do with me looking in the mirror and figure out, number one, why I'm not at peace. I felt drained. I felt a little used. I felt overdone and overwhelmed. And I felt like I wasn't getting as much support as I was giving out. If you ever have felt like that, please let me know. And please take some notes, because y'all know I always say pens and papers ready, class is now in session. So I decided to really take some time out while I was breathing in and out, while I was being forced to be at peace and at one with Valencia, to figure out what the hell Valencia really wants. What does it mean for Valencia to be at peace and to find balance in her life? And what it meant for me was to put me first. That means that if I don't want to talk to somebody, I'm not. If I don't want to answer my phone, I'm not. If I don't want to write a book or be part of a project or do an interview or whatever the hell it is, I'm not going to do it. For you, that may mean taking 2 self-care days a month, in which I started doing a couple of months ago. One day I go get a massage. And the other day that I promised myself in the month, I do nothing. I stay in my pajamas all day. I may play in my hair, makeup, or nails. Why? Because those are the things that make me happy. I forgot that in the process of making it quote unquote easy by going to sit at the nail shop with people that don't even speak my language. A lot of damn hood people up in there talking crazy with their baby's kids running around the nail shop. How was that relaxing? And playing in my makeup. And I love my makeup artists that I have used. But frankly, I know my face a little better. I don't like my foundation extra light. I do like a good shadow eye though. Once I master that, I probably won't need a makeup artist ever again. But I'm just saying, I had to figure out what made me feel at peace. I don't have to put out every fire that's caused by somebody else in their own life. Every battle is not yours. Some of it truly is the Lord's. So I had to figure out the things that was costing me my peace, and then figure out how to start getting my peace back. And yeah, it kind of started with me slowing down enough, learning how to freaking breathe in through my nose and out my mouth. As far as where balance comes into play, because it's funny, people think I'm such a balanced person. What it actually is, I know how to balance chaos pretty well. I know how to balance busyness pretty well. I know how to multitask until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, go to sleep for a couple hours, get up and do it again pretty well. Doesn't sound like balance at all, does it? So I had to find my balance. I had to go to bed when my body said go to bed, and start getting up when my body said get up, and give everything, every task, a day, a time, a week. See, I had this whole perfectionist thing going on the back end, where I wanted things to be done now, and I wanted it to be done right, and a lot of the times that was more than one thing. That's a little hard to do when you have animals and a house to run. And that's just me being honest. What's out of balance in your life? Is it the amount of time you spend gossiping on the phone? Is it the amount of time you take on YouTube, which I love? Is it you're not getting enough sleep? Are you going to sleep with the phone in your hand? That's the first thing you check in the morning. I'm just saying, I have questions. So I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about my new Valencia morning routine post the move retreat. So every morning after I get up, and literally I wrote this down, I make my bed first thing when I get out of it. I do my morning hygiene. Then I have a 16.9 full bottle of plain water. Then I do my devotional. And then I meditate for 5 minutes. And there are videos you could find on YouTube that are literally 5 minutes of meditation, guided meditation. And then after that, I set a daily goal or intention. For instance, my goal this week is to update my website. So that means my intention or my smaller steps may be today, upload the pictures I want. Something small. But guess what? I'm not going to stress if I don't get my website done this week, because I already have a website. And it'll get updated as soon as I could get to it. But I see so many people stressing to be the next big thing. And kudos to you. I've been on that hamster wheel. And what I realize is that what's for me is for me. And I don't have to drive myself crazy trying to get it. These are the things you guys, kings and queens, need to think about while kids are out here being bullied and shooting up schools because they have no confidence in themselves. They don't understand that that person in the mirror is more important than the person out the damn window. How can they understand what you don't show them? If I'm a kid and I'm suffering from low self-esteem and there's no peace within me and no balance because everything is crazy, and I look at my parents and I can't even have a decent conversation with them because they're glued to their phone trying to find the right filter to make their stomach look flat. Just something for y'all to think about. Something for you kings and queens to think about. We are the examples, whether we have kids or cousins or nephews, or whether it's a neighbor or the person walking past you in Walmart. We're setting an example for somebody. The world's not at peace and it's out of balance because we are as individual people. And I'm not going to get on my high horse. This is not that kind of episode, and frankly, I don't talk like that. But I'm just trying to impart some things that I've learned for you kings and queens to implement. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week to say, okay, I'm going to focus on my peace in November, December, January, some other time when plenty of people won't wake up tomorrow. And it may be the person listening to this episode. Do you want to spend your last day here on earth, not at peace and out of balance? Now, don't get me wrong. Everything you cannot control. Life doesn't work that way. But are you voluntarily giving up the peace you could have? For what? For who? Why? Truly, I see the world and I hurt. We're out of whack because we don't know what peace is, and your peace is priceless. I want you guys to just take some time out when you're done listening, of course. Make a list. Your list is going to be called Peace and Balance. So make a list of the things that are costing you your peace. People, places, and things. Put them there. The people, places, and things that are costing you your peace. Then in the other category, The things in your life that feels out of balance. And then in the third, I want you to think about your ideal life. What does peace and balance look like to you? Because my peace and my balance is not going to be the same for you. But you have to find it. And I do encourage you all, if nothing else, two things you could do. And I'm telling you what I've done. I deleted Facebook and Instagram off my phone. So if you see a post on any of those places, they came from my computer. Social media was costing me my peace. I'm so worried about the lives of people that I would not like if they lived next door to me. I'm just saying. So that's number one that you could do if you're a bold king or queen. Number two, find you a 5-minute guided meditation, video, recording, something, and do it every morning, regardless of how busy your morning is, regardless of how crazy it may seem, regardless of whether you think you got 5 minutes to spare. It'll give you a whole new train of thought, a whole new level of clarity you didn't know exists. Since I've been doing this, no lie, I've thought of new books that I'm going to write. Mind you, some of them may be in a pen name or may not. But right now I'm focusing on getting back the Valencia that had that fire burning inside of her to change the world through her words, to be a voice for the voiceless. I can't do that if I'm worried about petty stuff that don't matter. So those are my thoughts. I hope you have thoroughly enjoyed this Just Me episode. But thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you follow me on social media. You could drop me an email at valenciagwallace.com. Like, love, share, and subscribe, especially with those in your life that need to find some peace and balance. With that being said, remember your past doesn't define you. It gives you definition. And what you do with that is up to you.
Thanks for listening to Define You Radio. Make sure you connect with the show at www.defineyouradio.com. Pens and papers down. Class dismissed.